Welcome to Behind the Books. Today, I'm going to be speaking with Katelyn Bullock about iterating to success. Stay tuned for more. Welcome to Behind the Book, where I am your guide, Heather Andrews, unraveling the captivating stories from behind the pages. Join me as I sit down with authors from the literary landscape to delve into challenges, inspirations, and untold tales that breathe life into their written worlds. Welcome to another episode of Behind the Book in our series, as we've had Katelyn Bullock on before, where she was hunting unicorns. And today we're going to be talking about iterating to success. Welcome back, Katelyn.
Thanks, Heather. Appreciate it.
As you might have seen in the previous episodes, we've been talking about her chapter, Unicorns and Assholes, in the Culture Revolution collaboration book, powered by ENTA Solutions. So I'm super excited to bring this to the forefront. But what was the writing process like for you, Katelyn?
Oh gosh. Well, you know, it's funny, it started before the book. I was doing keynote speaking, and so my speaking coach, Megan Fett, as I mentioned earlier in one of the other episodes, she helped me kind of hone in a story, and I use that as the basis to my chapter, because it is a great story and it needs to be told, right? So I had a good base, right? Here I am writing that, it's good. And I was like, okay. You know, we sat and met about it, and you're like, yep, this looks good, it's, you know, accurate. Yep, you're telling a good story, you're getting your points out, and I loved that, like getting that feedback, right? And I thought, okay, I'm done. But then we were doing a team building workshop, a really fun one, that we actually do it as a course. So we train people within the company how to influence culture in their own company or for their clients. And we actually pair it with Peach Jam Records. If you know who Kenton from Peach Jam Records is, amazing dude. His team and our team come together, and the companies actually get to rock out while they're learning.
That's so cool.
So they learn about culture and they rock out, and like he brings all his equipment there, and we actually record them. They end up creating a song. Like, it's just an awesome program. Anyway, so we're in this workshop, right? 40 people, and so a topic came up and somebody asked a question. I was like, okay guys, I have to show you this. So I pulled up my quadrant, right? Which, if you don't know what it is, the last episode talks about it, but it's like, you know, unicorns, right? Idols, anchors, and assholes, right? And talking about alignment of values and results or performance, right? So the one guy, so the picture that I used, because I didn't want to put a real asshole on there, is I used the picture of a cat's butt. Okay, so like, you know how cats flip their tail up and then you can see their butt, Picture the cat's butt, and so I was like, yeah, and these are your assholes. And he's like, oh, I thought they were the cat's ass. And I was like, oh, I like that, because, you know, as I said before, there's not truly assholes. Like, they just don't align with your values. So there's somebody else's unicorn, but really, they're the cat's ass to somebody else. And I was like, oh my God, that's genius. Can I use that? He's like, yeah, absolutely. And I'm like, I gotta go write the book again. So then I had to go back, and you guys are like, hey, it's almost time to publish. You're gonna need your final edits. I'm like, wait! And I like rewrite that section again, just because I was like, oh, that epiphany moment. And I just feel like that's it. If you don't stop us and just publish the book, I'd be doing that like 10 times over, right? Like, oh, I got another D, I gotta add it in, I wanna add it in, so.
You're not the only one.
Right? It's part of the process, but I was so glad that I was able to get that element in. But like, little inspirations like that, they come from everywhere, right? And it really is, it's been a great process, but yeah, stop me. Like, I'm like that artist doing an abstract painting. I don't know when to stop. Somebody needs to stop me and take it away, so. You've taken it away, right?
Yeah. No, it's all
done.
good.
I'm done.
No, but you're not the only one that, you know, and that's part of the author journey.
Yeah.
And it's hard to let go of that story. Like, doing a keynote and writing it out is one thing.
Yeah.
But this is going to Amazon and beyond. And at your, you know, Power Network Group launch, it's going to be there.
Totally.
And so once you release it, it's out there. You know, I mean, we have pulled things back and changed a few things, and then given them a new ISBN number and published them again.
But we don't want to do that.
But we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So back to the point about you're not the only one, because another person in the book did the same thing. But the better part is that she had spent, this is where that intuitive story, and those divine downloads, I call them divine downloads because they're like those, I gotta write about this. And this goes to, you know, because she wrote her story and it was an amazing chapter. And then all of a sudden she's like, halt the truck, halt the book.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden overnight she had 2,500 and some odd words, and it came to her just like a flowing, like just like this, you know, and that's the one that we used because it was her divine voice.
Yes.
And it was her, and those are the ones that you tell.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just such an amazing process when you get to, you know, kind of do that creative with someone. And that's why I love watching people share their stories. But they also learn technology, they learn process, they get to create a community. It's beautiful.
And you know what? I think the hardest thing, and this is something that I've had to practice, because I have been very much a perfectionist. I don't know if you can imagine that in my youth.
just that.
Just a little perfectionist. Like even growing up, like I would learn something, and if I couldn't do it right away, I was very upset with myself. Like I wanted to be perfect always. And being a creator and stepping into this world of creation, like with social media, with, you know, being on film or writing a book or doing keynotes, being a creator and being vulnerable, you have to be okay with the imperfect, right? Because like, you know, it's good enough, right? There's an opportunity to be like, okay, it's the 1%, I need to get that 1% perfection, but really, we're in a world of like just create and keep going and give it out there. Get it out there is more important. And I think there's so many people who have a story inside them.
Oh, yes.
And they're so afraid that it won't be perfect that they're losing the ability to impact the people that need to hear the good enough version.
Mm-hmm. Well, don't you remember how we met?
Yes.
And you taught me not to be perfect because you helped me set up my TikTok channel. And the funniest part about that was, you know, you said it's not, and I said, but it's not going to be perfect. And you're like, it's okay.
That's the point.
And, you know, I don't think I've done a TikTok in over a year on the Empire Authors Academy TikTok, but it's time to march my own tune. And sometimes we go quiet when we're going through our thing, and then other times we're loud and more boisterous and bold because we're in that good space.
Yep.
And I think that's the ebb and flow of business. It's the ebb and flow of corporate culture. It's the ebb and flow of storytelling. And you were the one that said, Heather, and when I was telling all of the things that I did, you were like, we can do this and we can do this and we can do this. And that's the big part. And it's when you can perfectly embrace the imperfectly perfect.
Yes.
Boy, that was a lot of imperfectly perfects, but that's when good things happen.
It is. You're 100% right. And like, honestly, you got to go back to the why you're doing it. Mm-hmm. Like, we are writing this culture evolution book because our hope is, whether it's from my chapter or somebody else's chapter, it's that epiphany, that aha moment of my business is more than just what I sell. Mm-hmm. I'm creating a difference in people's lives.
Yeah.
So my impact can be huge, not just through my product or my service or my client experience, but the impact I have in the lives of those I touch.
Absolutely.
Right? And so like, if we can inspire one company to just make that shift, mm-hmm. and they might have 100 employees and they're all a little bit happier, mm-hmm. the ripple effect's huge. And so it's okay for it to be imperfect. As a creator, you have to kind of embrace that. And like, if I go back and watch my very first videos that I've ever done, oh God, they're cringy. Like, I want to cringe so bad looking at them. Like, oh God, Kate, you know. And there's like, we're about to update our website because I literally have cringe videos still on our website because like we just haven't refilmed them yet. But it's like, I looked back and I was like, oh, this is so cringe. But that's okay. I got the message out there. And you know what? People weren't looking at the fact that I filmed it in my living room and I wasn't mic'd up, and like, they were like, oh, I saw that video, I liked what you said.
Yeah.
That is it. And anybody else who's looking at the fact that my video editing sucks at the time because I didn't have amazing people like these video guys helping me, like, they're not for me.
Absolutely.
Right? They're not our people anyway. So I would love for people to create, whether it's culture, whether it's writing their own story, like just put yourself out there and get that story out, get that culture moving in your business, whatever it is. And I think we have to embrace the imperfect.
Well, I love, we were talking about transformation of your story, and I was sharing when I interviewed Adam that, and it just made me think about, you know, you hire coaches to push you beyond, right? And that's all of us. We need that person. We need to provide the platform. We need to give them the support. And in this studio, I remember when we did all the videos for all the lovely women in our networking group. And they use those videos for their websites and to promote their business. And the biggest transformations at that time took place with ENTA Solutions. The video guys like Arden and
Marcus and Ethan, the whole crew.
And the biggest transformations took place in this room with their coaching. And I got to witness it. And then when they walked out of here and then when they saw their video, they were all walking a little different. And so video and book writing and speaking, whether you are someone just facilitating workshops or anything, it's amazing when you kind of have that person behind you going, hey, I got you, you can do this, I believe in you.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Well, and you know, so many people get confused because like, you know, they hear what ENTA Solution does, you know, business improvement, team building workshops, and video storytelling. Like, what? That seems so random. Why video storytelling? Like, oh my gosh, guys, the power of storytelling is huge. It is huge. You convert 65% greater retention through storytelling.
Yeah.
So imagine if you're communicating within your company based on stories.
Yep.
Imagine if your company had legacy stories. Imagine if you got your personal story out there. Storytelling is the most powerful thing. So like, people need to get out there and tell stories. And I'm a big advocate of it, and it's why it's a big part of culture.
Yeah.
Is because it's not a corporate memo that you put on the billboard. Tell a story.
Thank you, Katelyn, for being on here today. Where can people get a hold of you as we wrap up this episode?
Oh, absolutely. Come follow me or connect with me on LinkedIn. Katelyn Bullock on my other social platforms. I'm Lady Kate, the entrepreneur. You can go to entasolutions.org, fill out the form. We can get in touch with ENTA. Just say I want to talk to Kate, and they will connect you with me. And I look forward to meeting with you guys because we truly are better together.
As you heard, reach out to Kate on LinkedIn or any of her other social media. Make sure you get your copy of the Culture Revolution book because your life will be forever changed. And join us on the next episode where we're going to ask Katelyn what is next for her and her publishing journey. See you next time. As we close another chapter on Behind the Book, I want to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our wonderful authors for sharing their stories. I'm Heather Andrews, reminding you that the adventure doesn't end here. Keep turning those pages, and I will see you next time.